be bumping that Her Loss. Oh, ironically, I'm gonna play Circo Loco too. Fuck him up, Drake. On a Daft Punk beat. How y'all let a motherfucker dish y'all on a Daft Punk beat?
Because he's Drake.
Like, he really got folks out their body on this sweet ass beat, bro. Like, it's so crazy. Bitch lied about getting shots, but she's still a stallion. Ooh, ain't that the shit that's got everybody up in arms? Got everybody out their seats.
I mean, when you explained it to me and said like, oh, it's more. It ain't about getting shot. It's more about like ass shots, and it's a play on words. I mean, I've heard that. But, I mean, I could kind of understand her being a feelings. I mean, what if she said, like, a whack-ass bar? She was like, I don't know, niggas need to stop lying about having kids, keep it G, like Pusha T. Like, and he heard that shit, as whack as that bar was. He heard that shit, and then he was like, so you gonna make fun of me?
He was just diss her back. That's
exactly.
what rappers do,
and my
right?
thing is this. My thing that I've been trying, it's two things that I want to get across. Like, my number one thing is, we talking about Drake here. Do you really think Drake needs Megan Thee Stallion to boost his album? If I told half of the world, hey, Drake and 21 Savage finna drop an album, the first thing that comes to their mind ain't finna be, ooh, I wonder if you're gonna talk about Meg Thee Stallion. But
it's respect too. It's also respect.
That's all the more reason. That's all the more reason not to even say a damn thing about her. It was
he did. That's what I'm saying, though, bro. He said nothing about her. He said the bitch got shots, not shots.
Stallion.
Shots.
I mean, it was a
lot about getting shots.
It was a double entendre. We've heard rappers use double entendres referring to other people all the time. Like, just because it's Meg Thee Stallion, people are all up in arms. We've heard niggas talk about other niggas getting shot. Ain't nobody said a damn word. Because it's Meg Thee Stallion, everybody up in arms.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
It's an unnecessary bar.
It may be unnecessary to people, but it's a part of rap. It's a part of rap. Hove did it all the time. Niggas ain't never said nothing about Hove using double entendres to sneak diss people. So I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the
people's
day,
people's point is it's a female. She hadn't said anything else about him. Like, why would you go out of your way? Why would you go? Listen to what I'm saying before you start. My point is,
play on words.
We know that. Okay, we get it. It's a double entendre. We got it. Everybody understand it. Okay, it's cool. We got it. The point is, people don't give him more credit for being more calculated. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly, hey, if I say shots, if I say stallion, people are going to put this together. Duh. He knows what he's doing, but he has plausible deniability. Hey, I can always say it's a double entendre. I wasn't talking about her. The mystery is still there. Dude, man, whatever. Anyway,
but I mean, what if
it's unnecessary?
Because like Alcy said, the way that I explained it, he didn't think about that. What if he wasn't thinking about a double entendre? Since the majority of the song, the album is called Her Loss. Okay, Her Loss. The entire album, him and 21 Savage are talking about thoughts. Okay, so if they're naming the album Her Loss, what if he wasn't even thinking about a double entendre and all he was thinking about was, hey, I talked to this bitch, she lied about having ass shots, but she's still a stallion. A stallion is someone that is a object that is thick. It is an animal that is thick.
But,
so
I mean, I find it funny. I find it funny that she even tweeted that. Like, she was like, he probably wasn't talking about me. A stallion is. She even tweeted the exact thing that you said, and until everybody else was like, no, he's actually talking about you. Then she goes into her whole clout rant about.
Before you even.
That's my. I mean, if she
Can
took.
we go deeper in the song when it talks about education?
He wasn't talking.
He wasn't talking about. How can people make that conclusion? That, to me, that's far fetched to say that he was talking about her with that bar. He can be talking about anybody with that bar, to be honest. But if I get the double entendre thing, and if she's upset, my thing is diss him back. You diss Tory, you diss the baby, just diss him back
and put the motherfucking put Tory in jail.
At the end of the day.
Look, let's just stop all this shit.
This is rap. This is rap, bro.
I just think that shit.
Proceed with your case. Get
feelings.
Tory Lanez locked up, and then
I agree with y'all.
ain't nobody have no smoke for him when he said she a 10. But it's good on mute. He was talking about Ice Spice. Ain't nobody have nothing. Ain't nobody come to Ice Spice defense at all.
Because she
came out and tweeted. To what you call it,
she came out and tweeted herself. She was like, "At least I'm a 10, though."
I mean, yeah, she said it, but still, it's just the fact that everybody is up in arms about Meg Thee Stallion.
Nobody else is gonna care about it. If she already got out in front,
so Meg Thee Stallion shouldn't have cared about it because it wasn't.
That's two different things.
Ice Spice probably don't care because she got that flight, that free plane ride. You know what I'm saying? It's like she got what
she's still talking about munching. Don't nobody know who Ice Spice is?
Everybody
know who. I mean, shit.
Compared to
everybody know who Ice Spice is. Compared to Meg. Okay, no. I'm finna kill your argument. Hey, people want to sit here and say, "Oh, that's offensive. That's offensive." When they had a whole song called "Wet Ass Pussy" and nobody was offended by that. Come on, bro. We want our daughters to run around singing that.
My whole thing is that my whole thing is
not.
That shit just was. It may have been a bar, but it was a little bit disrespectful.
Come on, bro.
That's how.
I mean, it's disrespectful, but this some bad.
It's disrespectful to the females.
This some bad. I agree with that. This some bad. This some bad. Keep it on wax. This some bad.
Keep it on wax.
Keep it on wax.
Damn. What's the problem?
That dude a whole.
If you got ass shots, don't lie about it. Because if you do, you may end up in a connection shit like
Kanye is a big rapper. He's still a hoe too. So
Kanye ain't big as Drake. I mean, that's your opinion.
Anyways, man, let's get this thing started. Welcome back to another episode of They Gon' Feel Me, where you get authentic conversation from authentic men. As y'all see, we starting off very, very hot today. You feel me? We coming in. What episode is this we got going
21. On? Can you do something for me?
Oh,
53.
53.
Hey, 21. What you talking about? You got me, man. Your host, RIP Takeoff. You got my boy Rob. You got my boy Reeds and my boy Alcy in the building. We back with another one. We 12 off from 100. So you know, as we always say, don't forget to like this, comment, subscribe, share so your mama can see it, your daddy can see it, your auntie can see it, your uncle can see it, everybody, because we trying to make it to the top. You feel me? So look, for me, we ready to get started. Y'all boys ready to get in here?
Yes, sir.
I'm coming off the flu, so excuse me if I'm like sniffling the whole fucking time.
Hey, look, bro, flu game, Al. You feel me? Go for 45 on this one. Let's get it. So, keeping it in the realm of music, unfortunately, we got to start off with a very, very, very bad topic. Just this past week, one of the fellow Migos was shot and killed in Houston, Texas. RIP Takeoff. It's been a whole bunch of speculation on what happened, what didn't happen. You know, you're seeing so many different tweets, different comments, and everything like that, man. Y'all tell me, first off, you know, how y'all feel about what happened, and based off of what y'all been hearing, you know, how y'all feel about the whole situation and how it went down.
As someone who lives in Houston, I can tell you a lot of speculatory things were like floating around for like a nice little minute. As well as, you know, of course, we always talk about this on social media. The video got shown like several different times, several different angles, and like, you know, there's varying levels of why that isn't cool. I mean, I can say without trying to speculate too much on what actually happened out there, but, you know, just based on what the general consensus is, I guess I feel somewhat okay that this isn't about to turn into some Houston versus Atlanta beef or something like that. You know, like I mean, I hate to cheapen, you know, his death, but like, I mean, last thing we need is people coming to Houston, you know, from other places, feeling big in their chest, and then doing some foolishness out in our night spots. We already got enough of that going around. So, but they ain't, I mean, I don't want to say that's the joy you can take away from this, but I'm just glad it you know, I'm glad it's not going to dissolve any further, hopefully, after this.
I mean, I mean, of course, you know, rest in peace, Takeoff, man. It was super sad. I was on my way to the gym that morning. It was like about 5 o'clock in the morning. And, normally before I get out my car, I'll check social media and just see, what's going on real quick. And just happened to come across that post. I was like, it was just a post. It wasn't a post of the video. It was just a post of him, like somebody saying RIP Takeoff. And I'm like, it's like Halloween. So I'm like, somebody got to be playing a joke, or like coming off of Halloween. I'm like, somebody got to be playing a joke or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can't be real. I'm like, what? So I go look deeper, and then I fucking see a video on Twitter, because you bitch ass niggas can't stop posting dead people on social media. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's another topic for another day. You know what I'm saying? But it's just super sad, man. And I think the biggest thing is the dude didn't bother nobody. Again, another person who was harmless. And then he wasn't even in the altercation. He wasn't even a part of the altercation. He was just a bystander, just happened to get shot and his life taken, for nothing. So it's super sad, and then hearing Quavo, crying, is super sad, for his cousin. Words can't express how, or his nephew. Yeah. Words can't express how, sad it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially another rapper, a very influential, part of hip hop, iconic group. The Migos, whether people like them or not, are an iconic hip hop group, and they help shape the sound of today. You know what I'm saying? So, once again, like, rest in peace, condolences to Quavo and Offset and everybody, all of his friends, and the people that's mourning him right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I really don't have anything else to say other than that. From the standpoint of when you look on the timeline and you see RIP Takeoff, and I'm just refreshing the timeline, multiple times. Like, huh? What's really going on? Because I know. People like to play all the time. Twitter is notorious for killing off people, and you thinking people are playing, but then when it's actually, you start seeing more and more situations, more and more reputable people saying it, and then you're like, okay, and as sad as it sounds, you think, hey, I'm gonna wait for the shade room or media takeout, or whatever, one of those to post it before you actually believe it, or it's actually confirmed. And then you start seeing that various people come out with various different stories of what happened, and you see. Well, I'll say one thing. I'm glad that I never saw any pictures. I never saw any video, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see somebody take their last breath. Even though I remember back when got killed. Out in California.
PNB Rock.
Talking about PNB Rock. Nipsey. You talking about
Nipsey Hussle got killed. They had the video of that. I didn't watch that. I didn't watch that either, man. It's just something is morbid in our culture, in our society right now. It's people, for whatever reason, people just have a sick urge to their first reaction is to grab a phone and just start recording. Not call the paramedics, not intervene, not try to help. You see somebody just standing there in a pool of blood or whatever, and you think, hey, I'm gonna record this, and then it's not enough for me to record it. I'm gonna hit send to put it out there to the rest of the world to see. It's something fundamentally wrong with our culture in general right now, and it's sick. It's morbid, and it's really disgusting. To be totally honest, because all you're doing actually is traumatizing other people. as well by viewing that and putting that on their spirit, because you're watching somebody take their last breath, and you're seeing the raw emotion of somebody being traumatized by seeing somebody's watching their relative get shot, and that anguish, that raw, unfiltered emotion, 100% emotion. Because at that point in time, Quavo was not thinking, "Hey, I'm a member of the Migos. We got millions of dollars." No, he's like, "That's a loved one right there that I can't get back, and I'm helpless. No matter how much money I got, no matter how much influence I got, no matter how many records I've done with so many people, none of that crap matters right now in this situation, in this point in time." And it's just, it's sick.
You know what's crazy? Like, I just remember going to Takeoff's page, and you see like a photo that must have been taken like at best 5 minutes, like, you know, where you just chilling, post it up, and then like if you do actually watch the video, it's like it's like crazy. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever thinking like, wow, what's going to happen within the next 5 minutes? You know, like, I mean, like that's so crazy.
It's so eerie too, because that same photo you're talking about, he was listening to a Playboi Carti song that said "Stop Breathing." That was titled "Stop Breathing." If you look in the top corner, so that's really like what's eerie about it, looking at the whole scope. But I mean, Reed said one thing that I don't feel like needs to wait, and Rob touched on it as well. I just wish us as a culture would stop feeling the need to post every damn thing on social media for likes and ticks and views and all of that. Like, it's not that deep, man. Like, I don't understand the infatuation with recording somebody instead of, when you pull out that same exact device that you could easily dial 911 and get the paramedics there, you choose to pull out that device and tap on a different app and pull up your camera and record what's going on, and then after that post it before calling the cops. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It is ridiculous, and we see it time and time. And it's not just with rappers. You see, you know, things when Black Lives Matter and stuff was out. Instead of calling the authorities, you see people pulling their cameras out. Somebody getting beat up by the cops or something like that, or somebody getting jumped, somebody getting robbed, or two neighbors going at it about something. Instead of calling the cops, people would rather pull their phones out, record it, and then share it to social media. It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But diving into the whole realm of like Takeoff, I mean, like it touched deeper. It touched a little deeper for me, because it's like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like watching somebody grow up in your eyes and then see them taken away. I remember listening to the Migos when they was first popping back, like first started having a major sound back in like 2012. And that was really when they first, like when they put out Versace and they had Drake remix it. Like, you know, we watched this group of people grow up before our eyes into the people that they are now, from listening to YRN mixtapes when they had really, I mean, they had money, but they didn't have anything, to now seeing them on songs with, you know, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce and stuff like that. You know, it's just crazy to see them grow all the way up and then to see somebody get taken away. I think that's what hits harder than anything. And then I touched on something before the show started, man. It's just like, we've been doing this show for a little over a year now, a year and a couple months. I feel like this is probably like the 12th or 13th episode where we've got on here and actually started the show off, you know, talking about a rapper's death. You feel me? Like, I mean, it's like, when is it going to change, bro? It's like, I understand, hey, this wasn't anybody trying to rob them or anything like that, anybody having beef with them like the other situations that happened, but it's still like, bro, being a rapper is the most dangerous job in America right now.
I know,
you're not guaranteed another day.
I know, like, and when we talked about that earlier, you know, that kind of links to something I saw, the aftermath after everything. Like, there was a few celebrities and rappers and athletes who said, I'm kind of through with hip hop because of the violence, the inherent violence and everything. And I think we talked about earlier, you know, why does it seem as if, like, because in this given situation, it does feel like less of a robbery or how other people have died. It seemed more like an altercation that kind of escalated into like this. And I think we talked more about like, why do, you know, why is it seems as if like even if it is altercation, why can't it be about just fighting, and why does it have to turn to gunplay? And like me personally, I look at it as being a thing of like, we have a generation of people, who through whatever reason, like as we've kind of matured in how we deal with like our issues, I feel as if like, there's a no tolerance, it's almost like ADHD of our temper. It's like some of us like really don't exercise good judgment as a byproduct. You make a lifetime worth of decisions, in a split moment, and it ends up affecting people's lives forever. And, I don't know. It's like, it feels as if like it's almost like a mental health issue, like to a certain degree, how people kind of just throw their own lives and the lives of other people with reckless disregard just because like over something minute that either could have been talked out or avoided or just like squashed or fuck it, handle it with your fists and like keep pushing, but like everybody out here want to like be these tough dudes, who all of a sudden got to like pull a gun or prove yourself, and like for what, like that's how I kind of look at it. It feels as if like there's something really mentally deficient about how we deal with, our anger and altercations and things like that.
It's really it's really simple, honestly. When you really break it down, and it goes back to emotional intelligence, and it's something that we have to get a handle on, even starting as little kids, when we teach our kids that, hey, there are more emotions than mad, sad, and happy, because for many times those are the only three emotions that everybody always knows. But you have deeper, you have more complicated, you have more complex emotions other than just mad, sad, and happy. And when we start doing a little bit deeper digging and actually talking about our emotions and feelings, is something that, we don't like to do in general, because as men, and particularly black men, when we grow up, we always told, toughen up, man up, and do this or what have you. And there's little room for you to actually be an emotional individual, because you're supposed to conform to this thing that society has placed in front of you. And so what ends up happening is we have a whole bunch of broken individuals running around that don't know how to properly deal with their anger. So you'll see certain things. You'll see domestic violence. You'll see abusing kids. You'll see quick to use violence. You'll see all of these things because people don't know how to effectively convey, hey, I'm embarrassed. Hey, you hurt my feelings. Something as simple. We think, or you would think, something as simple as telling somebody, hey, you hurt my feelings when you said that. I ain't gonna say that because that made me look weak. Instead of coming out and saying, hey, I don't like when you talk to me like that. That ain't the cool thing. That ain't the cool thing to say. It ain't cool to tell people, hey, I don't want you to treat me like that. I demand respect. I demand you address me a certain way, but instead of doing that, we'll rather going to start swinging. So we've handled nothing, because if we just fight, guess what's going to happen? The same reason or the same issue I didn't like you before is still there. We've discussed nothing. We've gotten nothing out of the way. It's just that, hey, this is a physical altercation. So I'm not going to say the end all be all, but a big part of it is emotional emotional intelligence and getting in touch with our emotions and being able to verbalize when people do things that don't sit well with you, and you can be able to regulate those emotions and not be that person that flies off the handle or a short fuse anytime somebody says something to you, or that person that can't take no for an answer. You know, you done met the guy that just can't take no for an answer, and he just has to have his way or whatever. But it's, to me, it's emotional intelligence, a big part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you made a good point. I mean, I think that's a lot of people in general's problem. Like, especially when growing up in single parent households, you know, and a lot of these dudes, they don't have that father figure in their life, you know, to teach them, you know, some of those things that they would learn from having a man in their life. You know, that's just a whole piece of the puzzle that's missing. And I think that would help a lot of these guys be able to handle their emotions better if they saw how their fathers acted, you know, and they had their fathers there to teach them how to handle themselves, you know.
But that's the thing. Some of their fathers handle situations just as poorly as.
That's true, but I mean, I still feel like having a father figure in your life does help with some emotional intelligence things, like seeing some things from your father. It helps you learn how to handle certain situations. But again, I mean, I think too in hip hop, I think Rob made a good point about the music. You know, it goes back to things like the music is ingrained in people's mind. You know, with the drill music, with gangster rap. You know, and some of us know how to distinguish, you know, what's real from, you know, what's fake. Or some of us know how to listen to something and not be influenced by it. But when you're growing up in, you know, in poverty or in certain areas, and that's all you have, and that's what you listen to on a daily, and that's what you subscribe to, and you look up to these people, then you tend to be more impressionable. So I feel like the music is a big piece of the puzzle too, as to why so many people resort to violence, because they feel like when you listen to these songs, this is what they did. This is what they say I need to do. So this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, like Rob said, when I'm handling an altercation and I demand respect. Nah, nigga, you gonna respect me because I'm finna pull out my strap and show you why you need to respect me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no, let's talk it out. It ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Even like a scuffle, instead of like just resorting instantly to gun violence, is my thing with our culture, man. I feel like, especially now, it's just like every altercation has to be handled with a gun. And I just wish we would get to a point where, you know, we can go back in time. I remember when I was growing up, you know what I'm saying? If I had beef with somebody, we gonna scrap, we'll scrap, but ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying, pulling out no gun or no knife or trying to hurt nobody for real. We gonna scrap. And guess what? We gonna be friends. We might be friends the next day. Like I had a fight with one of my homies. You know what I'm saying? We had an altercation and had a fist fight. We didn't talk to each other for about a week, and then we was best friends again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, like all this gun violence shit and stuff is just, I don't know. It just need to stop, man.
But to that point, that's why I say I feel as if it's like a mental health issue, because like that's some schoolyard stuff. Like talking about like we just gonna scrap and then we're gonna be friends tomorrow. Like, I mean, a lot of people they from a very early age, before they even heard of NWA or Snoop Dogg or Master P or it, any hip hop influence, they automatically already know like how to be ridiculously overly violent, and not deal with situations with talk. I remember listening to like Kendrick Lamar's album, Mad City, and there's that skit where it's like, tell me where your mama stay, where your grandmama stay. And you hear a dude in the background talking about, I'm tired of all this talking. You know what that implicitly means. Like, I mean, there's people who just are, I feel as if we're gearing our generation to just wanton violence. And it's more than just the music. The music might be the soundtrack by which you do the violence with. But that ain't. It starts with us beforehand to me.
But I mean, and I get your point, but I would argue, like, even if you look at the previous rappers, I like we got Tupac, and you could say Tupac and Biggie. But I remember a time when like Game was beefing with everybody. He even would go fight people. They never got, it was no guns involved. Like, it was not, you know what I'm saying? We just scrapping. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's like now it just feels like everything has to be handled with the gun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, you got some rappers that kind of know what level to take it to. But then you have these new breed of rappers that it's no holds bars. It's just like, you know, whatever, whenever, on site, like, and it ain't no respect. It's none of that. Like, if I don't like you and we see each other, then it's going down. Look at Rick Ross, 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Look at Ja Rule and 50 Cent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, Ja Rule and 50 Cent got into an altercation. I believe a knife was involved, but I mean, them dudes have seen each other countless times in person, you know, and ain't nothing happened because, again, they know what level to take it to. And it just seemed like especially this new generation of rappers, they don't know how to just, you know, how to keep it on wax, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it from escalating to that level.
And it's almost like when you hear stories, you know, when you hear stories about like how it used to be, and in your haste to prove like, hey, I'm better than, or I'm tougher than, I'm going to take it to that next level. My point being that even, you know, looking at a rapper like, you know, like you mentioned previously, somebody like Rick Ross. Okay. You know, Rick Ross has built his whole career off of being somebody else. I'm sorry, Lawrence Roberts. I mean, not, I can't remember that boy's first name. William Roberts. I'm sorry. William Roberts has built his whole career off rapping about somebody else's life. You know, he took this man a whole name, Freeway Ricky Ross, and has made a whole career about rapping about slanging dope. Okay. Now, the logical person would think, hey, if Rick Ross is rapping about all this dope, rapping about all this whatever, putting in all this work, why he ain't never been in prison? Why he ain't never been in jail? The logical person would think that, like, if he's done all this, I got friends with Noriega. Noriega owe me 100 favors. All this, you know, like, logically thinking. But when you realize, hey, he's just rapping. It's almost like WWF or WWE. He's a character. He's rapping about it. But you got people now, I mean, like y'all, you know, the favorite son, well, Memphis is on, you know, Pooh Shiesty and others. They're actually out here doing the stuff that they're rapping about. You know, back then it was like, hey, you gotta have some kind of street, you know, gotta have some kind of street cred to buy in or whatever. You had some that were actually, you know, some that were really actually doing it, but you couldn't tell the difference if you really, you know, if you didn't really know, you couldn't tell the difference. But now it's like people, like, they are really, and then we'll rap about it. Well, and then you have the situation with that we have in Atlanta, you know, that we have in Georgia right now, that, you know, I would not speak about, but, you know, what's recently happened with that in regards to lyrics.
What you talking about?
In regards to people lyrics coming back to haunt them. So it's crazy.
What were you gonna say, Al?
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, to kind of conclude things. Like, I just look at it like, even to Rob's point, you know, it's like you know, Rick Ross is ultimately a chicken wing salesman and businessman. Okay, you know, like the point of the matter is with like this whole situation is that like people need to stop treating music as if like it's performance art, and honestly we really need to get to a point where we stop associating your lyrical validity with how many bodies you really got on the street, how many cases you really got. Like, I mean, that doesn't equate whether or not you are a good artist, and to conclude things, like, just we really need to get that separation actually there, and people just need to really work on themselves and learn how to better manage their emotions so that tragedies like this don't keep on happening. And hopefully, these rappers out there, they can stay safe, and not fall victim to like, dumb street violence. So rest in peace, Takeoff.
Rest in peace, Take, man. Condolences going out to, the rest of the Migos, Offset, Takeoff, their families, friends, children, everyone, man. Y'all, I pray everything works out. Pray everything gets better. Time heals all wounds. So, moving on to the next topic, we got Kyrie Irving that is in headlines right now with sharing a post on Instagram, or not on Instagram, but on Twitter, about, what was it? Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. Wasn't that the name of the book or the name of the film that was on Amazon? So it's caused a big uproar. Has a lot of things going on with Brooklyn. Has a lot of things going on with the A word that I refuse to say because I can't pronounce it good enough. So y'all tell me what y'all feel about everything that's going on. Anti-statisticism.
Anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic. It ain't that hard. Anti-Semitic.
All I'm gonna say is this, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I don't get why he facing so much backlash for sharing something that he didn't even put out, and we ain't going at Jeff Bezos for having it on his platform. Okay, y'all take it.
And well, I'm not gonna even get into the movie because I haven't even watched the movie, so I can't intelligently speak on the movie. But what my point is, and I'll say this: ultimately, you are responsible for your social media. So when you put something on your social media, you are accepting responsibility for any backlash that you have on your social media. So if there is something that you post, realize that whether you realize it or not, you're promoting that thing that you put because it's associated with you. You're the one that hit the send button. You're the one that hit the repost button. You're the one that hit the retweet button. You're the one that hit the love comment or like comment. So if you don't want people to think that I agree with this piece of media, this piece of literature, there's an easy solution to it. Don't hit repost, don't hit retweet, don't like such things. But if you do and somebody calls you on it, be able to give a response as to why you did it and be able to hold up for your actions.
I will the person that actually has it on their platform. Go ahead.
I personally don't think that even if he had a good response, that they would have, that anything other than what happened would have happened anyway.
Yeah, he was
especially
going to face backlash
with everything that's going on with Kanye. Like, they was just looking for somebody to, you know what I'm saying, the
next person to come after.
The mud. Yeah, they was just looking for somebody to drag. Y'all niggas trying us. So who gonna be the next one that's gonna try us? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think that anything that he would have done after that would have prevented him from having to go through all these hoops just to play basketball again.
I mean, Kyrie not having a response, that just seems like that's not Kyrie not having a response to social media. That's Kyrie just being Kyrie. Anytime he comes into like the media scrutiny, it feels as if like he just has a general aversion to being asked questions, via interview. and he just feel like, fuck you mean, I said what I said, like I to Rob's point, I kind of don't want to pass any kind of judgment on Tyree just based on I don't know anything about this movie. I would actually rather see the movie, and I don't even know if it's actually anti-Semitic, or is this? It's kind of like with the Dave Chappelle thing. It's like everybody said, "Oh, Dave Chappelle is like saying jokes that are anti-LGBT," and it's kind of like, is it that he's anti-LGBT, or you just don't like that the joke is on you? Like, I mean, you or what have you. But I mean, that's an argument to be had for another day and another conversation. But I don't even know if this video is actually anti-Semitic or just people up in their feelings, But what I will say is that, like, I look at it as being the thing of, like, the argument this reminds me of the argument with, like, Kanye, where people were like, oh, everybody's up in arms when Jews get drug into this, but nobody had a problem when it was like black issues being like thrown around. And I feel as if it's causing this rhetoric to be spread, this dialogue is being had now, where it's like, it's almost as if like we having warring sides. It's like black people with our laundry list of issues, and Jews with their history of trauma and issues. And it's like, it's funny. It's ethnic group versus ethnic group, but it's becoming a black-white thing just based on, I guess, like complexion, for lack of a better descriptor. But I don't know, man. Like, when we were talking about this earlier, like, I was talking about how, like, I saw this social media post that came up, and they were talking about like the paradox of tolerance. In which case, like, it's this philosopher who came up with this idea called Karl Popper or something like that. And the thing about it is that we live in this society that wants to be overly tolerant. And as a byproduct, as we strive to be more tolerant, we start trying to silence people who are intolerant. And as a byproduct, we become intolerant ourselves. And it becomes this thing of, where is the line drawn on what a person is allowed to say, and this whole concept of free speech and things like that. When is the line drawn? And we struggle with that. I feel like in society, I personally don't give a damn when a nigga gets like canceled or like held accountable for the things they say when they're wrong. But there is something that can be said about, like, should we just be trying to end the careers and lives and the voice of people just because they say something that we dislike? Should there be a dialogue that's had where we actually like talk to people and hear their side? Or maybe they got an unpopular opinion and we just leave it at that. We call a spade, we say what's wrong is wrong, and then keep it moving. It just feels as if like everybody wants to be very polarized right now and be like, if you're wrong, then you're damned forever, and I don't know if I 100% agree with that, unless it's like a racist white guy who deserves to lose his job. But like, I mean, that's, but like, still, it's like, it's kind of, I don't want to like demonize cancel culture, but, it feels as if like at times cancel culture is on like this wild spree of just like, of not necessarily handling situations in the best way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
and maybe that's all around the world, but like I hope that makes sense. What I just said.
I mean, I don't know what that movie that Kyrie shared, what it's about either. So I'll reserve my thoughts until I.
It sounds like a hotel movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's really bad, then yeah, maybe he should be suspended, or they should be going through these things that he's going through. But if it's not that bad, I just don't get it just seems like they're out to get people right now. You know what I'm saying? And you could argue that maybe you should be more aware and not share something knowing that people are, on this spree of canceling people. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, to Al C's point, I do feel like cancel culture is just on this wild, like, spree to try to see who's gonna do something outlandish so we can cancel them next. Like, who's gonna be the person that we're gonna cancel next, and we're gonna one up ourselves every time. Like, if he does something where taking his money away. We're taking he has to jump through all these hoops to get back to where he wants to be. And it's like, dog, like when are we gonna, reel it back and allow people to make mistakes? Because people do make mistakes. You do realize that. Like not everybody's perfect, and if it's not something that hurt people, to a point where it hurt their livelihood or something, then what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't understand that. But again, I'm not on the side of Kyrie. I'm not on the side of the people that's trying to cancel him. I really don't know what's going on. I used to be the biggest Kyrie fan, but I kind of lost respect for Kyrie after he left Cleveland. So I honestly don't really give a fuck, to be honest. But I still believe he's a great player, and I don't want to see him get unfairly blackballed out the league over some bullshit. So,
but you want to know what's so crazy about this whole thing? And again, as y'all stated, I'm not agreeing with what he shared. I haven't watched the movie either. But number one, my point was, I hear what was being said, but number one, my point was, again, yeah, you may have hit send. You may have hit like, and you may have hit shared, but ultimately you're just a messenger. You're sharing something that's on somebody else's platform. We ain't got no smoke for Jeff Bezos for having it on his platform, but we got all the smoke for Kyrie for sharing it. It's number one thing. Number two thing, the media is all over Kyrie, but we still ain't heard shit about Brett Favre giving that money back. It just shows you the type of world that we live in, and I hate to bring race into it, but as black people, we gotta censor so much of the shit that we do, right? We gotta live life through a microscope, especially when you're a successful black person in the media or in a spotlight, right? I mean, just imagine somebody like LeBron. Like I saw a lot of backlash coming from what LeBron said about Kyrie. You know what I mean? But just imagine being somebody like LeBron where you say one wrong thing and the whole world is against you, right? It's like we got to censor so much of the stuff that we do on a free platform like Twitter where I can't share something without hearing all of this backlash. Now, I'm not saying share the most outlandish BS, right? But I mean, something as simple as a movie, or something as simple as a post, or something as simple as some type of a book or something like that. I got to go through paying this and go through this counseling and all this other stuff just to get my job back. Like, are we serious? Where we have plenty of white people who have higher jobs. I mean, just look at what's going on with Dan Snyder and what was going on with the Suns owner. All you made Sarver do was sell his team. Same thing you did with Donald Sterling. All you did was make him sell his team. You didn't jump through loops and do all this other stuff. And that situation was here and gone. We didn't hear about it that much. But we got situations involving somebody like Brett Favre that we still have yet to see much media airplay over.
Well, that's called agenda setting.
That's the thing.
The media, they may not be able to tell you what to think, but they can pick and choose, cherry pick what stories they put in front of you. And if anti-Semitism is like the big thing, then they put that out there. Anti-Semitism
is the big thing, but stealing money from low-end black and white people ain't got shit to do. We don't care about that. I mean, we already know America really don't care about poor people anyway, and they don't care about half of their people anyway. But we don't care about them. We don't care about this rich individual stealing all of this money from these poor people. But we have time to focus on anti-Semitism. Okay, all right. So
just say anti-Jew. How about that?
They don't if it was anti-nigga, they gonna promote it. So they don't care. So it is what it is, man. I don't. Again, like I said, I'm not agreeing with what Kyrie did. I'm not agreeing with what Kyrie posted. I just feel like, especially if you go, if people go and watch the movie and you don't feel that way about it. I mean, what does that say about all of the stuff that y'all putting this guy through? But that's neither here nor there. Y'all know how we wrap this thing up every week, man. What's the best thing that you have seen all week? Talk to me.
For me, I'm currently in the middle of finishing up a short series on Netflix. It's called Killer Sally, and it's actually pretty good.
I started watching.
watched it.
Because I knew about the story because I was growing up. I was heavily I would read all like bodybuilding magazines. You know, growing up as a kid, because you know I've been lifting weights since I was younger.
So you were watching, you were looking at oiled up niggas in magazines as a child?
Yes, yes. I knew about the story of Ray McNeil and Sally McNeil already, but I didn't know their details that I didn't know. I didn't know, about the kids. I didn't know about the domestic violence. I just knew, that she had murdered her husband, who was a prominent bodybuilder. But it's actually a really good story. It peels back the layers of the bodybuilding subculture because, it has many bodybuilding greats on there like Linda Murray, who's 8-time Miss Olympia champion, and it's really actually pretty good. So Killer Sally on Netflix is actually pretty good, and it's one of the best things I've seen.
Well, so my favorite thing that I've seen all week, actually I forgot all about that. I watched Killer Sally too, but my favorite thing was on social media, I saw like a meme where they were talking about how rappers back in the day were like scared every time that like Lil Wayne got on one of their beats to like to freestyle, and it really did make me think about like, wow, Lil Wayne, he can murder a beat. Like I don't necessarily always like Lil Wayne as a person, but I do respect him as like an artist, and like he got some heat, and. Actually, I was even thinking about maybe there's a show that we could do like sometime in the future. We just talk about like some of our best, Lil Wayne songs, since we, did the same thing for that chip on face bitch nigga earlier. But I just thought that was kind of good nostalgia, thinking about the greatness which is Lil Wayne and his rap career.
The best thing that I've seen this week, I watched Drink Masters on Netflix, which is a pretty good show. I like cocktails. I mean, alcoholic beverages.
Really?
Alcoholic beverages.
So that stutter was a little bit rough.
I like to drink.
I like alcohol.
Mixology is very interesting to me. Rob, just edit that up. You know what I'm saying? Let me start that again. Hey man, it's late. Nigga tired. Man. You know what I'm saying?
It's going in there, cuz.
Nah, we can start. The best thing that I've seen this week is Drink Masters. That's all you have to say, man.
The best thing I seen all week was Drink Masters. Now y'all know I like cocktails. Oh, brother. Oh man. Chill, my boy.
Hey, man. But anyway, it's a very interesting show about mixologists. Mixologists. Shut up, nigga. Hell.
Wow.
Oh, man.
And the moral of this story, kids, is enunciate your words.
Very interesting show about mixology, and I just want to say that it's pretty dope to see how in depth like these people go to make drinks. Like it's just not about like making a simple drink. You know what I'm saying? Like they were doing things that like had led one drink into another. Basically, like they had a trio of drinks, and each drink went into another cocktail. Yeah, I said cocktail again. God damn it! Fuck y'all. So, but anyway, check it out. It's a dope series. Yeah.
You could have ended that so great when you were. And all I got to say is, fuck y'all niggas. When you said all I got to say, you could have ended it. Dropped the mic right there. That would have been perfect. Oh, man. Oh, best thing I've seen all week. I really ain't seen nothing special, to be honest. Best thing I heard all week was, of course, her loss. Hey, Circo Loco, what's up? 21, can you do something for me? I guess I'd say the best thing that I've seen so far is that time going back. You dig? Get that extra hour of sleep. That's probably about the best thing that I done seen all week. My eyelids being closed longer than I expected. But other than that, I really hadn't seen no shows, man. I hadn't seen too much stuff this week. So, hey, look, clap on, clap off. You have officially made it to the end of the show. So if you have made it this far,
yes, sir.
Drop a comment in the comment section.
Put cocktails in the comments.
Section.
Put cocktails in the comments.
Put the cocktail emoji and the eggplant emoji.
CK. Now I tell you what, if you made it this far, type antithesism. You feel me? In the comment section.
No,
for
put
me.
Cocktails in the.
Put it down there, cuz. Put your little glass down there with the eggplant emoji. I own my shit. Fuck it. Bitch ass niggas. Fuck out of here.
Ding, ding, ding.
The fuck you thought this was? Now get the fuck off my screen, nigga.
And
hey, it's your boy Rob from the They Gon' Feel Me podcast. And if you want more authentic conversation from authentic men, check out this video.